So, this is how it all started. Picture this, if you will. I'm sitting there, laptop screen glowing in my tiny studio apartment, rain hammering against the one window I have. The cursor is just blinking, mocking me, really. I just sent my resume to what I thought was a legitimate import company. One tiny typo. That's all it was. I typed dmarcelli.private instead of careers@marcelliimports.com. Just one wrong letter that would change absolutely everything. My name is Maya Chen, and 3 months ago, I was nobody special. Just another desperate college graduate, drowning in student debt, watching my father fight cancer while our family savings just disappeared. Living on instant ramen and hope, basically. The rain hammered against my window as I stared at that message-sent confirmation. Outside, neon lights blurred through water droplets, creating this kaleidoscope that somehow matched my chaotic state of mind. I'd sent out 47 applications that week alone, each one a desperate plea for anyone to give me a chance. The Marcelli Imports job listing had been perfect. Executive assistant position, competitive salary, downtown location. I crafted my cover letter so carefully, emphasizing my organizational skills, my discretion, my willingness to handle confidential matters. Little did I know, those exact phrases would land in the private inbox of Damien Marcelli, heir to one of the city's most powerful crime families. I thought I was applying for a simple administrative position. If only I knew. I had no idea. I just applied to work for the most dangerous man in the city. The call came on a Thursday morning, while I was scraping together coins for coffee. Professional voice, courteous, utterly convincing. Miss Chen, calling on behalf of Mr. Marcelli. He was impressed with your resume and would like to schedule an interview. My heart nearly stopped. After weeks of rejection emails and unreturned voicemails, someone actually wanted to interview me. I agreed immediately, not questioning why they wanted to meet at 8 p.m. on a Friday or why the interview was in a downtown office building rather than the warehouse district. I spent my last $20 on a navy blue blazer from a thrift store and practiced my answers in the mirror until I had them memorized. This was my chance. This was going to change everything. The Marcelli building was impressive. Gleaming's a tower of glass and steel stretching 30 stories into the night sky. The lobby was all marble and mahogany with security guards who looked more like Secret Service agents. I should have noticed how they scrutinized me, the subtle nods they exchanged, the way my ID wasn't just checked, but photographed.
Miss Chen, thank you for coming. Please, sit. This position requires absolute trust. You would be privy to sensitive business information, client lists, financial records, import schedules. Not everyone can handle that level of responsibility. The salary is $80,000 annually, plus full benefits, including health insurance that would cover your father's medical treatments. Monday morning, 8 a.m. sharp. Marco will provide you with all the necessary paperwork.
Welcome to the family, Miss Chen.
I floated home on a cloud of euphoria and relief. $80,000 a year, health insurance for Dad, a chance to finally climb out of the crushing debt that had been suffocating me since graduation. If only I had known what I was really signing up for. Monday morning arrived, gray and drizzly. The office they assigned me was larger than my apartment, with floor-to-ceiling windows offering a breathtaking view of the city. Mahogany desk, top-of-the-line computer, filing cabinets with locks that looked like they belonged in a bank vault. Okay, so Red flags. Let me tell you about the red flags I completely ignored because I was so desperate for this job. First red flag, I had to schedule a business dinner for Mr. Marcelli and someone called, and I kid you not, the butcher. When I asked for the butcher's real name, Marco just smiled and said Mr. Marcelli would handle it personally. Second red flag, the security. Oh my God, the security. Every floor needed keycard access, armed guards everywhere, and the parking garage looked like something out of a spy movie. Third red flag, the clients. They came and went at all hours, always in expensive cars with tinted windows. None of them smiled. All of them moved like they were expecting trouble. But I pushed it aside. I needed this job. Dad's chemotherapy was coming up, and that insurance coverage, it was already a godsend.
My relationship with Damien during those first weeks was purely professional, though I found myself increasingly aware of his presence. He'd arrive each morning at exactly 7:45, impeccably dressed, carrying himself with quiet authority. He was nothing like the men I dated in college. Where they had been boys pretending to be men, Damien was undeniably, overwhelmingly male. When he spoke, people listened. When he entered a room, conversations stopped. It was my third week when I finally understood what kind of business Damien Marcelli was really running. I was working late, trying to reconcile some shipping manifests, when I heard voices from Damien's office. The door was slightly open, and curiosity got the better of me. Territorio de Kozlov se está expandiendo, Damien was saying. Territory. Kozlov. Expanding. La familia no puede permitir esto, came Marco's voice. The family cannot allow this. Family. Not company. Not business. Family. My blood turned to ice. The pieces clicked into place. Armed security, mysterious clients, code words. Damien Marcelli wasn't running an import business. He was running a crime family. I spent that night researching the Marcelli name online. What I found made my hands shake. References to organized crime dating back generations. News articles about federal investigations, always ending with charges dropped due to insufficient evidence. I'd accidentally applied to work for the Mafia, and they had hired me.
We need to talk. You've been doing research. And what did you learn? And how do you feel about that discovery? I didn't lie to you, Maya. I simply allowed you to make assumptions. We do import things. We also export them. The nature of those goods is what might concern you, among other things, but not what you're thinking. No heroin, no cocaine, nothing that destroys lives and communities. We deal in information, in favors, in services that can't be obtained through conventional channels. You have a choice to make. You can leave, right now. Marco will provide you with a generous severance package, enough to cover your father's medical bills for the next year. You'll sign a non-disclosure agreement, and we'll never see each other again. Or you can stay, with full knowledge of who we are and what we do. The position, the salary, the benefits would all remain the same, but you would be part of this family, with all the protections and responsibilities that entails. Perhaps, but you've proven yourself to be intelligent, discreet, and surprisingly brave. Those are rare qualities. And besides, I find myself reluctant to let you go. If I stay, what exactly would my responsibilities be? The same as they are now, with some additions. You would help coordinate legitimate business operations. We own several companies beyond this one, all of them legal. You would help manage the transition as we move more operations into legitimate enterprises. Take the rest of the day. But Maya, understand that once you make this choice, there's no going back. If you stay, you're mine, completely. I protect what's mine, but I also expect absolute loyalty in return.
The next morning, I called in sick. I needed time to think. Should I quit immediately? Report what I'd learned to police? Just disappear and hope they forgot about me? But I was trapped. They had my information, my family's details. And there was Dad's treatment to consider. The insurance had already covered thousands in chemotherapy costs. When I returned to work, Damien was waiting for me.
Maya, this is dangerous. Us, the way I can't stop thinking about you. You should run from me, Maya. Run far and fast and never look back. Then God help us both. I should apologize. If we do this, there's no going back. You understand that? Once you're mine, truly mine, I'll never let you go.
I spent that day walking through the city, trying to think logically. But logic? Logic had apparently abandoned me the moment I walked into Damien's world. Every rational thought was countered by the memory of his intense gaze, that quiet authority in his voice, the way he'd said I was his. By evening, I had made my decision. I found him standing by the windows in his office, looking out at the city like a kingdom he ruled. I'll stay. Are you certain? No, but I'm staying anyway. Over the following weeks, my understanding of the Marcelli organization deepened. They were what Damien called a traditional family, operating under codes of honor dating back generations. No drugs, no human trafficking. Their business was protection, information, conflict resolution. Damien himself remained an enigma. Surprisingly well-read, spoke 4 languages, had an Ivy League degree. He donated anonymously to children's charities, paid medical expenses for family members who needed help, and I was falling for him, hard and fast and against every ounce of common sense I possessed. The attraction was becoming impossible to ignore. It simmered beneath every professional interaction, every casual conversation, every moment when our eyes met. It all came to a head during my 6th week. I was working late when he appeared in my office doorway. You should go home. It's almost 10 o'clock. Just finishing up the hotel confirmations. I'll be done in a few minutes. Instead of leaving, he moved behind my chair. I could smell his cologne, something expensive and masculine.
We began a relationship that existed in the shadows, hidden from the rest of the family and the outside world. During business hours, perfect professionalism. But after hours, we explored the growing connection between us. Damien was unlike any man I'd ever known, demanding and protective in equal measure, tender one moment and commanding the next. He made me feel cherished and desired in ways I'd never experienced. But even as our relationship deepened, I remained aware of the dangers. Damien's enemies were many and ruthless. The Kozlov organization had been making increasingly aggressive moves into Marcelli territory. Stay close to Tony, Damien instructed one morning as he prepared for a meeting with rival family heads. Don't go anywhere alone. Don't take any meetings I haven't pre-approved. Are you expecting trouble? I always expect trouble. That's how I've stayed alive this long. But even Damien's careful planning couldn't prepare us for what happened next.
They escorted me to the SUV with terrifying politeness. As we drove through the city, I tried to memorize the route, notice landmarks, but the windows were tinted, and I soon lost track. We ended up in an abandoned warehouse in the industrial district. They secured me to a chair with zip ties and left me alone in a room that smelled of rust and old machinery. I don't know how long I sat there before I heard vehicles arriving, voices, urgent and angry. Then the door burst open and Damien strode in with Tony and half a dozen soldiers. The relief was overwhelming, but it was quickly replaced with fear when I saw his expression. This wasn't the controlled man I knew. This was someone capable of terrible violence.
Are you hurt? Take her to the car. Keep her safe. I can't do that, amore. They touched what's mine. They made you afraid. That can't go unanswered. It's already escalated. This ends tonight, one way or another.
Miss Chen, please come with us quietly. We have no wish to hurt you, but we will if necessary. You're going to help us send a message to Damien Marcelli. A message about respecting boundaries and knowing one's place.
I was leaving the office late one evening when I noticed the black SUV across the street. It had been there all morning, and something about it. Tony had taught me to trust my instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Something definitely felt wrong. I pulled up my phone to call Tony, but 3 men emerged from the SUV. They moved with professional coordination, spreading out to cut off escape routes. My heart hammered as I turned to run back into the building, but another man appeared behind me, tall, broad-shouldered, with a scarred face that spoke of violence.
Tony led me away before I could see what happened next, but the sounds from the warehouse told me everything I needed to know. When Damien emerged, his shirt was torn and bloodstained. It's done. They won't threaten you again. This is my world, Maya. Violence, danger, constant threats. Are you sure this is what you want? I thought about it seriously. The rational part screamed that I should run, but the heart wants what it wants. I'm sure, but I have conditions. No more secrets. If I'm going to be part of this world, I need to know what I'm dealing with. All of it. Knowledge is dangerous in this business, Maya. The more you know, the more valuable you become to our enemies. Then I'll just have to trust you to protect me, but I won't be kept in the dark anymore. True to his word, over the following weeks, Damien began including me in family business. I sat in on planning meetings, reviewed financial reports, helped coordinate their transition toward legitimate enterprises. The Marcelli organization was more complex than I'd understood. Yes, illegal activities, but also hundreds employed in legitimate businesses. They provided protection for small business owners, settled disputes the legal system couldn't address. My relationship with Damien deepened as well. What had begun as attraction evolved into something profound. He carried the weight of the entire family's welfare, and I began to understand his loneliness. My father believes I'm too soft, he told me one evening. He thinks by moving away from traditional methods, I'm weakening the family. What do you think? I think the world has changed. The old ways draw too much attention. The families that survive will be the ones that adapt.
It was during one of these conversations that he told me about his plans for major expansion of legitimate operations. They were negotiating to purchase restaurants, construction companies, a shipping firm. I want you to head up the transition. Your business background, your outsider perspective, it would be invaluable. I was honored, but terrified. Damien, I'm 25, with 6 months' experience. Shouldn't someone more senior handle this? Experience isn't always about time served. It's about understanding, seeing opportunities others miss. You see our organization from a perspective none of us can match. The project consumed the next 3 months. 18-hour days, coordinating with lawyers, accountants, business brokers. I learned more about corporate finance and federal regulations than I'd ever wanted to know. But slowly, carefully, we assembled the pieces of what would become Marcelli Enterprises, a legitimate holding company for all the family's legal operations. Every contract scrutinized for investigation triggers. Every employee vetted to ensure they weren't undercover agents.
every decision weighed against its impact on ongoing federal cases. But it was incredibly rewarding. I was helping build something that could provide legitimate employment for hundreds, part of moving an entire organization from shadows into light. The first major acquisition was finalized on a crisp October morning. Marcelli Enterprises officially purchased Torino Construction. Relatively small, but it represented a fundamental shift. Damien was glowing with satisfaction. This is just the beginning. Within 5 years, majority of our income will come from legitimate sources. But even as we celebrated, new threats emerged. Viktor Kozlov wasn't a man who accepted defeat gracefully. Intelligence suggested he was bringing in outside help, European connections. He's getting desperate, Tony reported. Desperate men make dangerous choices. What kind of dangerous choices? The kind that don't follow traditional rules. Attacking civilians, targeting family members, involving law enforcement. As if to prove his point, the attack came 2 weeks later. I was at my apartment, reviewing contracts, when the explosion shattered my windows. The building shook. Car alarms wailed. I could smell smoke and gasoline. My phone rang immediately. Damien's voice was tight with rage. "Are you hurt?" "No, but there was an explosion." "Car bomb in the parking garage. Tony's already on his way. Pack a bag. You're moving to the penthouse tonight." The penthouse became my new home, though it felt like a luxurious prison. Armed guards everywhere, communications monitored, movements restricted to vetted locations. I understood the necessity, but the isolation was wearing on me. My relationship with my parents became strained as I struggled to explain why I couldn't visit them. This isn't sustainable. I can't live like this indefinitely. It's temporary. We're working on a permanent solution. What kind of solution? The kind that ensures Viktor Kozlov is never a threat again. Damien, you can't. I can, and I will. He crossed a line when he targeted you. But if you kill him, his organization will retaliate. This cycle will never end. Sometimes, violence is the only language these people understand. The word love hung in the air between us. First time either of us had used it. I love you too. That's why I'm asking you not to do this. Not for me. There has to be another way. You're brilliant, strategic. Find a solution that doesn't involve more bloodshed. I'll consider alternatives, but if he makes another move against you, all bets are off. The solution, when it came, was more elegant than I had expected. Federal agents raided 3 Kozlov properties simultaneously, seizing millions in assets, arresting key operatives. The raids were based on intelligence anonymously provided to the FBI, detailing years of illegal activities. Viktor Kozlov himself was arrested on racketeering charges that would keep him in federal prison for life. How did the FBI get all that information? Sometimes, justice finds a way. Sometimes, the system works exactly as it's supposed to.
I know this isn't traditional. I know my word is complicated and dangerous, and not with any sane woman would choose. But you chose it anyway. You chose me. And I can't imagine my life without you in it. Maya Chen, will you marry me? Will you be my wife, my partner, my co-conspirator in all things legal and legitimate?
With the threat neutralized, life returned to something approaching normal. I moved back to my apartment, though Damien insisted on security. The legitimate acquisitions continued at accelerated pace. 6 months later, I was standing in the conference room where I'd first met Damien, watching him sign papers that would transfer majority ownership of Marcelli Enterprises to a legitimate holding company. The final step in transforming a criminal organization into a legal business empire.
Congratulations, Mr. Marcelli. Marcelli Enterprises is now officially a publicly traded corporation. As the lawyers filed out, Damien turned to me with an expression I'd never seen before. Pure, unguarded happiness. We did it. We actually did it. You did it. I just helped with paperwork. Don't minimize your contribution. None of this would have been possible without you. Your vision, your dedication, your refusal to accept that things had to stay the way they'd always been. He kissed me then, soft and sweet and full of promise. He has something for you. He reached into his jacket and withdrew a small velvet box. My heart stopped. I was crying before I realized it. Yes, I whispered. Yes, of course. Yes. The ring fit perfectly, as I'd somehow known it would. Everything about Damien was perfect for me, even the imperfect parts, especially the imperfect parts. Standing together, looking out at the city, I thought about the email mistake that brought us together. One tiny typo that changed my entire life's trajectory. I'd thought I was applying for a simple administrative job. Instead, I'd found my destiny. Ready for your next adventure, Mrs. Marcelli? I leaned into his embrace, feeling safer and more loved than ever. With you, I'm ready for anything. It had started with a wrong email address. It was ending with the promise of forever. Some mistakes are actually miracles in disguise.
And that's the story of Maya and Damien, from a mistaken email to a love that changed everything. Thank you so much for joining their journey until the very end. If you enjoyed this emotional romance story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more heartwarming love stories. Please share this video with friends who love romance stories and comment below, would you make the same choice as Maya? See you in the next love story. Stay in love, everyone!